Welcome back to the Eye on Foxborough. I'm Karen Guregian. I'm here with colleague Chris Mason, and today we're pleased to welcome back three-time Super Bowl champion James White. Hi, James.
How you doing, Karen? Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, I'm doing great. We had an OTA earlier this week where we got to see the full team.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to watch all the quarterback reps, all the 20 minutes of footwork drills that they all did.
You break
Uh,
everything down.
I know we actually saw some new things, obviously with a new regime and a new coaching staff. I'm just curious, does it surprise you that Drake May would be the third guy taking reps at this stage?
No, it doesn't surprise me. It's just the start of his career. You got to earn those extra reps that you're getting. You're not just gonna start with the first team. You're on your first day. You gotta build chemistry with the young guys first. Then eventually you get some more reps with the veteran guys. Everything in this league it should be earned. Nothing should be handed to you. I I dislike when rookies are handed the keys to the starting job day one on. I mean, like in some situations, look, I mean they're probably the best person on the roster, a la Caleb Williams, where, yeah, he's going to be the starter from day one. There's nobody who's going to beat him out there in Chicago. But I very well think Jacoby is more than deserving of the first team reps until Drake May goes out there and proves himself.
Yeah, it was kind of like that with all the rookies across the board, receivers, everyone. Do you remember your first OTA sessions and where you were on the totem pole?
Oh, yes. Towards the bottom, which the way it should be. You got to earn everything, every rep that you get, and the more that you prove yourself that you're not going to make mistakes, that you're going to go out there and do your job at a high level, then you'll earn more reps.
Hmm. Before we came on, we were talking about the Celtics game a little bit, and Drake May was there right in the front row, cheerleading, and he was at Bruins playoff games. Do you think it's good he's kind of indoctrinating himself to the city and the sports teams? Because I know, there's a lot of, you guys went to a lot of Celtics
Yeah.
games and Bruins games when you couldn't, and I think you guys thought that was an important thing to show support.
I think it's very important for him to show support for the fans to see him, up close and personal, to maybe get to talk with him, some him to embrace the New England culture, the fan base. It's just going to be a lot of excitement for him as well to get a little bit of taste of what that fandom's like before he plays in his first, NFL game. And I always think it's great to show support, between organizations, the NBA, NHL, NFL. The Celtics will come out to our practice during training camps or come to a game, throughout the year. And I think it's fun because there's a lot of championships have been won between all the organizations, and for them to continue to support each other, it means a lot.
I'll flip to the running back room. Rhamondre is still there. They brought in Antonio Gibson. Kevin Harris is in
Yeah.
his third year, I believe. Do you think they have enough in the running back room, especially since it seems that Alex Van Pelt's offense is predicated on the running game to start?
Yeah, I believe they have enough. Rhamondre is a guy who can play the majority of the snaps. Obviously, that may have some sort of effect on his health throughout the year, like it did last season. But he's a guy who could play first, second, third down, wherever you need him to be. And you bring in a guy like Antonio Gibson, who's that versatile change of pace guy, kind of like myself, who can run the football as well, but he can run routes out of the backfield, create the mismatches, just like Rhamondre can. But to have, I don't know what their identity is going to be, whether it's going to be different than what we were in the past, whether they're going to have, a pass catching back and then, a first down, second down back, or whether both guys will do a little bit of everything. But he's a guy who's great at that. And then you also have Kevin Harris, who he hasn't played, really big time snaps, but each year he's gotten better and better. He's more of that downhill runner, more of a physical runner. And to have those three guys, I think they have enough in that room.
Chris?
James, with Rhamondre specifically, is there anything you think that he can do to kind of take his game to the next level? Where, I mean, through 3 years, he's obviously a very good, productive player, but I feel like we've seen a few times in flashes, like he has the potential to be special.
Yeah, I think it's just continue to build. I think each year he's gotten better and better. I know, the year when Damian got hurt and he was kind of thrusted into that full-time role, a lot was thrown at him, but I think he embraces that now. He wants to be the future back. So I think for him, it's just, taking care of your body and just continue to work on your endurance. If you're going to be on the field for 80% of the snaps, you're going to have to build up your endurance. And I think he did that, and he just rolled his ankle last year, and that ended up taking him out. But I think that's the area where I love to see him continue to improve at.
And he's also entering a contract year now. Like as a running back, what's the mindset when you're entering a contract year? Because obviously you're at a position you're gonna
Yeah,
take hits and
yeah, it's a precarious position for sure. The running back market, a lot of guys got paid a solid pay to this past free agency, more than what I ever expected. So I think he should be sitting pretty good. You just got to go out there and perform. That's what it's all about. And after you get the contract, you have to continue to perform. I think that's why the running back market has been watered down. Some guys who have gotten paid, the performance has dropped off some, or they've gotten injured. And I think Rhamondre, he has to stay healthy and perform at a high level. And whether it's the Patriots, somebody else will pay him some good money.
James, you'll be happy to know that your former coach, Ivan Fears, who's retired, still
Oh
basically
yeah.
to every practice, up in the stands and watches every minute.
That's no surprise. It's such a routine. He can't get away. He loves being in the building. He's a football guy. So I mean, hey, I'm retired now too. So I'm trying to, figure out, how to navigate life outside of football. It's hard. It's hard when you're accustomed to doing, one thing for such a long time.
Hmm. I know you cover the Big Ten. You're an analyst in the Big Ten, and I'm guessing you saw a little bit of Penn State.
Yeah.
And the Patriots drafted a right tackle, Sadon Wallace, and I believe they're trying to move him to the left side. What can you tell us from what you saw about Wallace?
Well, he has a good physical presence. He's aggressive. He gets a hat on a hat, and I think that's what is most important at the tackle position. You don't want free runners, and he's a knowledgeable player too. So I think that'll definitely help. I think he'll be a guy who can make an impact in year one. Obviously, Cole Strange is hurt now, so maybe they try him out at maybe some guard or something like that as well. See if he has any versatility when it comes to that. But yeah, I think he's a good football player. They address some of their needs. I think, one of these younger guys are going to have to emerge in year one and play some big snaps.
Chris?
James, with OTAs kind of rolling on, what was your approach when I feel like people read into attendance all the time at these things, right? And they're technically voluntary, but sometimes it feels like air quotes voluntary. So when guys like Matthew Judon, like Devon Godshaw aren't showing up, what do you make of that? And as a former player, what was your approach with it?
I don't make anything of it. I know for myself, one year I didn't come to OTAs, one of my last few years there. I don't think it's that big of an issue. If you're putting in the work and you're communicating with your coaches throughout the process, I think, everything's just fine. Work is work. And OTAs, they're important to some extent, but they're not mandatory. And like I said, as long as you're taking care of your body, putting the work in, make sure you're ready to go come training camp, I don't have any issues with it.
James, we talk about concern about the offensive line, concern that they still don't have enough weapons, concern about the rookie quarterback. Do you do you think the Patriots might surprise some people this year?
I think they'll surprise some people. The defense has been very good over the last several years. So if the defense continues to play at the same level or even at a higher level, they're going to be in every single football game. If the offense obviously, picks up the slack some, they don't have to go out there and score 35 points a game or anything like that, but they consistently, move the ball, control the line of scrimmage and score, 25 points a game. This team could be right there in the mix. They're going to surprise some people. There's teams like the Arizona Cardinals last year. Nobody had any expectations for them. I know they didn't win a ton of football games, but they were competing and playing four-quarter football games with everybody. So you don't know what to expect in this league, no matter what the offseason moves look like, no matter who the head coach is. They're still the best athletes in the world, no matter what all the offseason talk is all about. So I think they'll definitely shock some people and very limited expectations. So it's almost like you're playing with house money. Nobody expects you to go out there and win a Super Bowl this year. People don't expect you to have an opportunity to win the division. So So why not just, give everybody a tough matchup every time you step out there?
But have you seen that schedule, James?
Yeah, not gonna be easy. Not gonna be easy. But look, the schedule's the schedule. I mean, every team is like I said, every team can beat you when you line up out there, no matter whether they played well last year, whether they didn't play well last year. You never know what a team's gonna look like. Just because a team was in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl last year doesn't necessarily mean that's gonna be the exact same this year. So we'll just have to see how it all shakes out.
One of the things on that schedule was a week 14 bye. What would your reaction be to a week 14 bye?
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time for the bye week, but hey, you get a little reset button. I mean, obviously, hopefully you've won a ton of football games at that point, so you can kind of hit a refresh button and those last few weeks throughout the season you can push to try and get a better spot in the playoffs. But yeah, that's a long time. So somebody's got to have that. I mean, hopefully you start off the early part of the season, on a roll, and then you can carry that momentum. So when that break is much needed at that week 14.
Do you have any thoughts on the AFC East as a whole? Obviously, the Patriots finished in the gutter last year.
Yeah.
We might see Aaron Rodgers. We probably will see Aaron Rodgers. For how long, we don't know. The Bills lost some players. Miami lost some players. Is it a slam dunk that those three teams are going to finish ahead of the Patriots?
No, it's not a slam dunk. I think it's wide open. I think you have every right to probably give every other team maybe the slight advantage over the Patriots as far as, what the roster looks like or what they perform like over the last 3 years. Yeah, sure. But yeah, everybody has some sort of change. The Bills lost a lot of leadership as far as players, in my opinion. The Dolphins, new defensive coordinator. Obviously, the Jets are very heavily relying on Aaron Rodgers being healthy, for them to go out there and win. So there's a lot of a lot of unknowns for every single person. I think any team can win this division, even the New England Patriots. So we just got to wait to see how it all shakes out.
Is it still odd now to look at this team without Bill Belichick at the helm?
Yeah,
Even for you?
yeah, it's very odd. I mean, it's going to be odd probably until midway through the season and Gerard's really getting his footing and you really get a feel for, this new look regime. Like I said, when most people think New England Patriots, they're thinking obviously like Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Robert Kraft, those three of those guys. So things have changed some. It's going to take some time for everybody to get accustomed to it.
Yeah, we're getting accustomed to it too. I mean, we actually get answers to questions.
Yeah. I was just talking about that on my radio show on Sirius XM, how it's like that's going to be one of the biggest differences. You probably hear a lot more information come from, players and from the coaches. So I said that it'd be a little bit of a different feel, but I think at the end of the day, some of the core principles will stay the same.
And even like Gerard and Drake May, they had them mic'd up for that. I mean, it's like
it's
it's
different.
almost mind-blowing for us. I'm sure this stuff goes on everywhere else, but
So
in Foxborough.
yeah, you get so much access now. It's different. Probably makes your job easier.
It's funny. Gerard on Monday just volunteered injury information, and it was like, you got any more that you want to share? Like, it's a whole new world.
Come on, give me some more information, please.
Right.
We can make fun of it, but James, I think the Belichick way, especially when it came to like information and having one voice and one message, worked for a time. And I'm guessing you guys as players might have even liked, basically saying nothing.
Yeah, I mean it worked for sure. And like I said, you knew that coach wasn't going to give out any information that you weren't going to give out yourself. So I said he held us accountable for that. He held the rest of your teammates accountable not to say anything as well. So it doesn't matter which way you do, as long as everybody's on the same page. I think that's all that matters.
We have a big event coming up in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah, not too far off.
Induction. I'm guessing you're going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be in attendance for that one. That'll be a fun atmosphere for sure. The fans get to be there. Probably one of the, I mean, who knows when the next time he'll come to the state. Well, announcing, I guess he'll at some point he'll announce a Patriot game when they get back into prominence. So it'll be fun. It'll be electric atmosphere, getting everybody, a lot of the players back in there, and getting another opportunity for me to sit back in the stadium.
Are there things planned? You don't have to tell us, reunion with former, teams and players and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, there's some big surprises that I can't share for sure, but it's gonna be fun. If the people that are going there, they'll definitely be entertained. I'll say
Come on, James.
that.
It's a new era. It's an open era. You can tell us.
Yeah, I might lose my invite if I tell
Have
you.
you have you ever walked a red carpet before?
At the ESPYs, I think that's the only time I've ever done that, one and only.
Mm. Well, I don't. I'm sure it will be much different than the Tom Brady roast, or maybe it won't. I don't know. You tell me.
Maybe those who weren't invited to the roast may have their opportunity if they get a mic. Who knows?
What What would you say, James, if you had the mic?
I may have to save it though. If they give me a mic, I might have to save my material. I can't.
Well, it'll be different. I mean, have you been to any hall inductions before?
Oh no, I have not. I haven't been to
I've
any
been
of
to
those.
quite a few of them, and I think they usually have it out in the plaza,
Yeah.
and there's people lining the stairs and lining the plaza, and it's kind of a cool scene. But now I guess we'll have like 60,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah, packed stadium. It's gonna be like I said, people who are going, I think it'll be worth their money. I'll just say
All right.
that.
Well, Chris, you have anything else? Are we good?
Oh, just do you have any like advice for Tom as someone as a former Patriot who's made the jump into media? Do you have any like Tom, look out for this type sort of thing?
uh, it's tough. I mean, it's hard to speak about people that you've played with or coaches that have coached you. It's definitely hard to be critical of them because you obviously been on the other side of things. Sharing the same locker room or sharing the same building with them. So I say just be cautious when it comes to that. Just knowing how you would feel if somebody was speaking about you, but at the same time, you got to be real as well. You can't sugarcoat it. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing and say that, which I think he'll be very blunt. I think he's pretty critical already of some of the younger generation and some of these younger quarterbacks what they can get away with versus what he could get away with when he was playing a little bit earlier in his career. So I think it'll be just finding that balance. I think that's the hardest thing about being in the media is just you can be critical, but obviously if you're too overly critical, then obviously it's gonna blow up.
Wasn't he pretty blunt with you guys on the sidelines?
Oh yeah, but it's different. It's different. I mean, there's some mics over there, but they don't release everything.
Well, I think again, that's a big curiosity for the season, just how well he will do
Yeah,
stepping into that role. But I know he's studied, I know
yeah.
he's practiced.
Well,
Uh,
the thing about it, he's not that far removed, so he's very familiar with the players, the coaches, which I think is going to give even more of an insight to what's going on, and everybody gets to be in the mind of Tom Brady for 3 hours out of the day, get to see how he actually breaks down the game of football, and even with Bill being on Peyton's show, that's you got a little taste of it with the Pat McAfee his show during the draft and everything, so you're gonna get a lot of details of what it's like being in a Patriot meeting room.
well, they will not given Peyton's a Monday night guy and Tom isn't, but if they were actually competing on a Sunday, if Bill had his thing and Tom had his thing, which one would you watch, James?
It's it's tough. I mean, I guess I would watch Tom's because I've sat in Bill Belichick's meetings where he's covering it for 8 years. So yeah, I'd probably listen to Tom just to hear how he
That
breaks
would be
down other
new.
people. Yeah.
All right, great. James, thanks so much for spending the time with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, James.